Slides for y'all, and it's July 18th. It's an update on the AWS Calendar Invite server. The organizer is anyone with a calendar client that sends event data to the AWS Calendar Invite server SES box. That is a simple email service. You set up a box with your name and your domain on your SES account, and that starts the processing for the calendar invites essentially sent by the organizer using the calendar client to create new, update, and cancel data in the AWS Calendar Invite server. So the independent calendar invites here are shown by one organizer, and that organizer obviously is me here doing the demo. And I've sent this data to the processing box here by using a crate@calendarsnack.com, which is our demo account. What happens here in the processing center is we're tracking the UID for these independent games, and we score them as new, update, and cancels when they hit the box here. And the post-processing essentially is we store them in S3, we do some lambdas to basically extract, transform, and load, and we load that data in a DynamoDB. What happens here specifically is the inbound calendar invite is captured in the SAS box and disassembled. We assign the UID for the event, and it's stored under that organizer's email address. Any update or cancel in the organizer's calendar client for that UID is reprocessed and stored for use of the API 1 through 9 calls by the AWS Calendar Invite server. The outbound data processing happens like this in workflow. Outbound calendar invite data is reassembled for a UID when endpoint API number 1 is called, and calendar invites are sent out for any new calendar invites. So update and cancels commands from the calendar client to the registered new UID event in the database result in updated or cancel calendar invites being sent based on yes or maybe status of the customer response. For no's, we don't track since he or she does not want to receive any more calendar invite data for that particular game. Updates happen prior to the end of the event, so that means you can run this workflow for updates several times based on the status of a game being changed, possibly a venue or date, and or a special offer message. So that data hits the API gateway here, and these APIs are served up to build out the application interfaces. So one of the application interfaces is over here. I just ran through the workflow. I have a game here, Dodgers versus Brewers. I saved it. Essentially, I created it and I saved it. It created a new data capture here. These APIs here are visually displaying this particular game here for Los Angeles Dodgers versus Milwaukee using our APIs here, 2 through 7 specifically. The workflow more detailed here is the create command is used. It is for a new data set here. It's inbound and captured. API gateway here in step 2 captures 2 through 7, communicating to an API application. This application is the Calendar Snack demo. Here's the AWS Calendar Invite Server console talking to the Calendar Snack demo here in number 3. And then we generate these auto-generated upcoming pages out of the bucket. These are the upcoming particular games. Endpoint number 1 is hit. This is essentially a one-click calendar invite button that has API number 1 loaded into the web pages. We go out and actually gather the UID for that particular event. We reassemble it and we send out the calendar invite. Anytime this data changes up here, it reflows through 1, 2, 3, 4, and the new calendar invite data is sent out. Now, when we get through kind of the steps, at the end, you'll see that this send calendar invite endpoint captures the UID and the name at the same time, and that endpoint sends out the particular calendar invites for someone like Zach at techvader.com. He puts his email up here, we capture it, and then we send out the UID match for the particular calendar invites for the MLB games. You'll see them there. So what happens at a processing layer, how is the calendar invite receipt data collected for the AWS calendar invite server? We have a very intricate process, which is a set of lambdas that basically calendar invite sent by the AWS calendar invite server number 1 requests a calendar receipt from the customer. Calendar invite receipts are collected by the AWS calendar invite server API gateway, and data is summarized for yes, no, maybe status. If the status is updated by a customer is collected and changed in the database. You can kind of see it here at a detail level. What's embedded into the file every time we generate these is we're actually requesting a status of the role of the participant, which is essentially the end user. We're asking for a status update. And so when these calendar invitations go out, a calendar invite, the organizer is requested to hit a status back. And if they do, interact with the buttons within the calendar invite itself, we actually capture that data back. We're capturing that via API gateway here. It's basically our proprietary calendar invite receipts are collected by UID, and they are summarized here with lambdas using S3 into DynamoDB, and they're visualized here using these APIs 3, 6, and 4 and 5 here at a detail layer. That's the end of the demo, and thanks for stopping by.